Alright, here we are in the final round against Hataraxy. This is actually the original creator of the Turbo Necro Storm deck, so not much doubt in my mind they're on Necro. Alright, so here we go with Jewel in a post-MH3 world. Now this is, of course, without bans having occurred. This is the day after the much deflated announcement of no bans. So, in this Scaminator world, Jewel certainly has some issues. However, I am trying to at least continue to innovate to make that a more reasonable matchup. There's only so much you can do. The deck is broken and is pretty good against us specifically. However, barring that, Jewel is extremely good. I do think in a post-ban world, I think Jewel will be amongst the most competitive combo decks. But I don't think it'll be broken, which is a great place to be, right? Something that is good, competitive, doesn't need to be banned, viable option, good stuff. But, so we got new toys, right? We got Vexing Bauble, we got Sink into Stupor. I have tested out a few different lists, and everything has felt like reasonably good. But there were some things that I think were missing. That is, I think we needed to focus more on how to beat Scaminator, and I think just playing Chalice's main deck is kind of a no-brainer for this deck at this point. Not that there's zero tension with it, but we don't really have zeros and we don't really have ones. Probably the most of the tension is in the event that you cast Chalice before Vexing Bauble. However, even then, we do still have access to it through Urza's Saga, and I think this gives us the best chance reasonably against Scaminator, and it's also just a good card in all sorts of different matchups, so we should probably be taking advantage of it. In a post-ban world, we might not go that route. Show and Tell is very good. Having all those blue cards is very good, but I think this is kind of where we need to be. As far as the mana base is concerned, given Vexing Bauble, I think Urza's Saga makes a lot of sense. It's kind of tough to argue otherwise. However, there's still advantages to not playing Saga. You could play like a 4 Bauble list with no Saga and just have more access to blue and not play Scary. I'm playing Scary here because once you play Saga, then 12 of your lands are colorless, and it's just really hard to come up with the double blue for Transmute Artifact. There is, obviously, some awkwardness and tension between Saga, Scary, and City. However, this is mitigated by running a total of 20 lands, so a little higher on lands overall. And what that does for us is a lot of these lands will protect the other, depending on what is deemed as the land you want to protect, right? So if you're up against Wasteland, you can do something like, you have Saga, Scary, and Scary is actually the thing that you're really trying to protect. You can just start playing Sagas, they get Wastelanded, or the other way around, right? Like you'll play a Saga, they'll waste it, you play Scary, they waste it, and now you have Saga and Ancient Tomb. Obviously there's some awkwardness once, you know, even City and Saga is awkward sometimes. You play Saga and City's your follow-up land, your Saga's disappearing, and if you play another land, then your City is disappearing. Scary is about the worst thing that you want post-City. So the sequencing is very important, and sometimes we can really get punished. However, having more lands that tap for 2, right, 12 of them, in addition to 4 lands that demand Wasteland, getting Wastelanded. Generally speaking, I've had success against Wasteland, and then just having a higher density of lands. I had an Otawara. I played a list last night. I went 4-1, losing only to Scaminator in a very close match. This island, one of these islands were Otawara, but I think just having 2 Sink into Stupors and I like 2 islands. There's Beseiju like everywhere. I really like being able to guarantee that I have an island to get from it. Vexing Bauble has been pretty great. I think I had 3 in the list last night. But I wanted to reduce the tension between Chalice and Vexing Bauble. Command has continued to be just super flexible and powerful. I'd say one of the coolest things about it is if you have a ton of extra mana, you can just like full stop pump into a ginormous scry, because all that mana comes back to you in the form of Eldrazi tokens, and then you can just like stack your deck. It's pretty cool when you're like going off a jewel. One of those cards that if you run into when you're jeweling and you're running low on action, but you have a lot of mana, this can just allow you to stack your deck. It's just got so much flexibility, being able to kill creatures, hit graveyards. These numbers might change. There's 2 inside, 1 in the main right now. Again, Chalice is kind of squeezing some of the other numbers. I'd love to have more blue cards. Like Chalice and having to run 20 lands are what are squeezing the rest of the deck. I'd love to have more blue cards. I'd love to have more Bauble. I'd love to have maybe a Might Stone and Weak Stone. I'd love to have the Relic of Sauron. A lot of stuff. But you have to make cuts, concessions, etc. when you're changing card choices. I have a split of Opal and Petal, because in the event that Opal isn't on, I do want Saga to be able to get mana. I don't really want more than this, because I don't really want zeros in my deck, but I do want my Saga to be able to get mana outside of Key. And I do love having Key. Makes a huge difference. And in the sideboard, of course, we have our forces, a little bit of bounce. I want to repeal mostly for like lands. I want to be able to bounce for Pithing Needle. Pithing Needle is going to be a pain in the butt, especially since I got rid of Relic of Sauron, but we have some ways around it. I still have yet to really formulate my final opinion on this card. I'm going to keep running it until I can get a good feel for it. Eldrazi Confluence. I've added Aether Spellbomb because I think it's important to be able to bounce like a Traxa or even a Frog. Like, we can't kill Frog with Pyrite. Not that we necessarily want to run Pyrite anyways. I had it in the main at one point, but there's generally speaking not as much Bowmasters, which is a good thing for us. They tend to be in the sideboard, and there tend to be 3 of them instead of 4. And of course, Cage or various graveyard decks, as well as being good against Cradle Control. Soul Guide Lantern, good for Scaminator, graveyard decks. An additional Vexing Bauble for when we're on the play. And then a couple Worm Coils, just so we have some sort of alternate threat to have access to. But that's about it. So, one thing that Scary does do for us is it is acceleration, right? Typically, we're not blasting off on turn 1 anyways, although we can. And since we've had to go down on petals so that we can support Vexing Bauble, it is nice to have some sort of acceleration. One thing that Chalice does do is it increases the meaningful spells in our deck, right? Previously, this was largely show and tell. And one issue that this deck does run into sometimes, and put you in some awkward mulligan decisions, is you have a totally functional hand that just actually does nothing, right? You'll be full of cards like Metamorph, Copy Artifact, and Transmute, and mana, but like not double blue to transmute, nothing to copy, nothing to copy. Force of Will sometimes makes those hands better, and sometimes we're in positions where you have to keep hands like that. You keep the stable mana and you hope to draw into action. We do have a lot of action, and Chalice is a card that at least if you have a hand like that and you have Chalice, well, especially on the play, obviously it depends on the matchup, but it's a card that can have a large impact. Whereas Show and Tell was yet another card that, in the event that you don't have certain cards to go with it, it's another kind of waiting room type of card. So I do like that. I am going to miss having additional blue cards with the Show and Tells. I think we were up to like, it was up to like 22 blue cards or something in the main. Right now we're on 18, which like 17 is the bare minimum. 18 is like the reasonable minimum. I do like having 20. I did play with 4 Stupor and it was just too painful. We take a lot of damage between the One Ring, Ancient Tomb, getting attacked, Bowmasters, Phyrexian Metamorph. Our life total evaporates very quickly, and it's just too costly to be paying. I would I would honestly rather not even have to run it and be able to just run like maybe a 1-1 split with Otawara, but we really need the blue cards. So I think if I weren't on Chalice and I were playing Show and Tell, I would likely be on a 1-1 split with Otawara and Sync. I do like Sync, I just don't think we can afford the life loss. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, if you haven't seen the deck, pretty much the goal is to resolve a Jewel. Since we have 12 copy effects and copy artifact, copies Jewel costs only 1 mana, so you draw 3 cards, you go up 1 mana. Same thing with Transmute, you can sacrifice a Jewel, get another Jewel. And Metamorph goes mana neutral, but it's also just really flexible as a card. Typically, if you land a Jewel, you can go off, especially if you already have copy effects in your hand. And then eventually, Transmute wants to get Engine with a spell to cast after it, with some mana rocks and or ring in play, and very easily Paradox Engine and 1 ring allows you to draw your whole deck. Once we've done that, we can cast Emrakul, and it doesn't stop there. We can go infinite with Emrakul. You don't need the Otawara to do so. I mean, Otawara only allows you to recast it 1 time. But what you can do is you can cast the Phyrexian Metamorph, copying Emrakul. The legend rule pops up. You keep the copied version. The real Emrakul goes to the graveyard, triggers, and shuffles back into your deck. And since we popped off with Engine and the 1 ring, we draw back into it and we play it again. You just gotta make sure, 1, you don't deck yourself by accident with the 1 ring. 2, that you replace your 1 ring so that you don't die to it when you take an extra turn if you're low on life total. And I guess there isn't really a 3. Most people just scoop once they see the Emrakul, right? But sometimes they want to make sure that you're not killing yourself, which is understandable. If you're wondering why your opponent hasn't scooped yet, it's worth replacing your ring, because that's one legitimate reason why they could be waiting. If you're taking other game actions instead, you might be wasting your time. But yeah, that's about it. The deck is sweet, super powerful, and it's exciting to have some new toys to play with. Stupor and Bauble, very real. Let's jam some games. See you in round 1. Okay, here we are in round 1 against hundinggjornersen. We are on the draw. We have a well-rounded hand. I'll keep. If we draw either an actual soul land or Petal, we can turn 1 ring. Leads off with a Meticulous Archive and reveals Yorion. We did draw the Ancient Tomb, that's nice. Yeah, I'm gonna go for that. Alright, Monolith is in. Key is in. Untap Monolith and Ring. Ring is getting forced, okay. Force pitching to Fairy, sure. Pass it over. This is probably Nadu Breakfast. We get Wastelanded, that's fine. Got plenty of those. You can even go for a Saga. Alright, that's enough lands, okay? Let's chill out. March. I'm gonna say I don't like the pausing on that one. And let's just go ahead and untap this. Alright. They have 1 land and they're passing. We do like that. Get Saga stuff going. That's another Grim Monolith. I like that I can just play Scary here. I can still make a token and untap this Monolith. Full stop. Now we could have been more patient and, you know, waited for a Vexing Bauble or Saga to pop off, but I don't think that's exactly necessary. We're kind of stuck on mana here, which is nice. Untap this Monolith and make a token. I do think I will get Vexing Bauble, but if we draw some action, we can resolve it. Oh, baby. Okay. Still gonna make a token. Plenty of mana to do it all here. Spell Pierce would be annoying. Let's go untap the Monolith. Play another Monolith. I'm gonna play Island. Don't have to tap the Monolith yet. Although I could. Doesn't really matter. We have this other Monolith. Go for Transmute. And they're off it. Destroyed from every angle. Yeah, we were about to sack this Monolith, pay, get a Jewel, and start popping off hard. Never mind the constructs that are already a problem. Let's see, Wasteland. So, might not even be Breakfast. Might be some sort of just Bant Could be like Bant, Stoneforge. Who knows? Play another Vexing Bauble. I think I still like Chalice. They're gonna have a lot of 1-drops. Soul Guide for Uro. Repeal because it's flexible and removes hate. Yeah, let's play these. Be on the draw, I'll go to 3 Chalice. Did see Wasteland. From 1 copy effect. Maybe I don't want the 3rd Bauble on the draw. Let's try this. Keep 1k command. I could bring in more. Lavinia is kind of annoying, but you need 4 lands to be able to even cast it. Yeah, nothing wrong with this hand. Well, not nothing, but it's reasonable enough. Turn 1 Chalice feels good. Turn 1 Chalice, then turn 2 Chalice. See if they want to do something about this one. Cast the Brainstorm. Spell Pierce, Brainstorm, yep. You never know when this card is just gonna be devastating all on its own. Could have Prismatic Ending, but at least they have to spend it. Could just be like Stony Silence, right? Or Lavinia. Yep. Well, at least we have a lot of lands. We do have some answers to this. That was a terrible draw. Put this land into play. Yeah, I think I just want to play another Chalice on 1. Opponent getting in for 2. Down to 14 we go. Charming Prince, sure. Scry for 2. Alright, so they're like probably Esper Vial. Not sure how much I like Chalice now that I know that. One Ring will be good eventually. I think I still just want to play this as a land. Let's do that. Don't want to see a Wasteland. Immediately plays a Wasteland. Immediately. I think we have to cast this. Try and make some things. Or make a thing. Copy Artifact. No, not good enough. Okay. Land goes down. What's this? Back for 4, we go to 8. I'd like to see a Saga. Canonist? Alright. Gary's not the worst. But we are absolutely behind. We're gonna have to chump here. Or you don't have to, but I'm going to. Another Wasteland. Yeah, that's good enough for me. Okay, I don't think I want these Chalice. They really only have so many 1-drops. I do want more creature removal, so let's play these. Play Spellbomb. Worm Coil's nice and all. Wonder how much swords they keep in. I don't think I want it. We don't need Soul Guide. Probably trim a Force of Will, honestly. Between Lavinia and Teferi. Trying to get Bauble into play anyways. From 2 of them. Play a Chain of Vapor. Alright, here we go. Okay. Hand is fine. Play Saga, put them to the test. They waste it, we'll have room to play Tomb Ring. They don't waste it, we make tokens. Saga go? They mulligan to 6. Lanes pass. Another land, which could be good. We will find out. Alright, opponent. No plays on 1. Ooh. They got no land, so they have probably multiple forces. Maybe even either multiple forces or like a force and a really like a Lavinia that they just need the blue source for. It's kind of my read in this situation. Let's keep making tokens. Could just get Bauble to ruin their force situation. Or we could get Opal. We can start, I could even like Metamorph copy. Be slamming copy effects. Tough call. I think either is likely to win. I'm going to get Opal, because in the event that they find their land, play Lavinia, we'll be in a much better spot than if we get Bauble. Ancient Tomb. I keep the repeal. Let's go. Let's dodge Force of Negation. Play a Metamorph. Now they gotta decide if they want to waste the Force of Will on this. They do. Pitching to Teferi, okay. So we're in a pretty good spot here. Let's get in for 3. Pass it over. Now we can go 1 ring into Copy Artifact. We're losing a lot of life, but Prismatic Ending, okay. 1 token gone. Takes us off of our Opal Blue. Unless 1 ring gets in. Oh, it changes that. Go City. Let's cast this 1 ring. Again, wouldn't shock me if they had another force given what they've done here. Yeah. A whole bunch of forces is fine. Now we can go key and copy artifact, construct, get in for 4. Now we're up to 4 artifacts, which is nice against another prismatic ending. Whoa, Solitude. Pitching Canada. So they have 1 card, 1 land. And we've got some solid interaction here, which is nice. Alright, they found their 2nd land. They have 1 card in hand. Saga's good. I'll take a Saga. Now we're back up to 12 life, which is pretty relevant here. Thought they were going to have the glass card swords. Alright, let's just get the Saga in. And pass. They get an island. They do have a castable, which is interesting. Alright, they get to pick up their land. And they get a 2-1. Probably not worth repealing Sam. Alright, opponent is stuck. Alright, they're back. They get their land. And Cozy Command would have been sweet there. Could have killed Sam and exiled that land. Cast the Lavinia. They're definitely drawing well after having 1 land and 1 card. But that's fine. Now they have nothing left. You get in for 2. It's fine. Oh, I'm a dummy. I could have just blocked. Or no, you can't. Can't block. Ring Bear. Let's repeal this Lavinia. Get to draw a card. Alright, Monolith is alright. Another Monolith. Alright, well, let's get 1 in. Yes, I might as well get the other in. Then we can make another guy. Get in for 6. We've got Lavinia in hand. And they go down to 5. I mean, they definitely have outs, but we are certainly favored in this position. Low life totals all around. Very, alright. They bounce a construct. I mean, they're still just dead on board. What if I bounce it? I don't think I need to do that. There's no 1 card that's going to save them here. Wasteland, that's fine. I mean, they're good draws, but they're still dead. Manifold Key. Their hope is that I somehow don't see it. We draw Island. And we go unblockable. And get in for 5. Dead. It was close. I mean, they drew extremely well when they had 1 land and 1 card in hand. Made it a super close match, but that was a good one. We're 1-0. See you in round 2. Alright, we're back for round 2 against... I can't say that name. We can keep this hand. Reasonably well-rounded. Eldrazi Temple. There's just no end to this guy. Sure. That's not a bad draw. So Petal. Opal. They out of Scary. Ah. Yeah, we didn't want to see Wasteland there. I almost played Saga because I'd kind of rather have that get Wastelanded. Uh-oh. Alright, Saga's in. We don't have any mana to get with Saga because we had both our Petal and Opal in the opener. Instead, cycle Cozy Command. Can for 2 mana, it's just no scry, it's just a draw card. Of course they have another. It's brutal, man. Yep, we got a 16. And just gonna be no lands ever. Classic. Classic, no lands ever get double wastelanded. It's gonna be a no for me, dog. It's the copy artifact. Come on, Ancient Tomb or City. No lands ever. Classic. Cavern, yeah, we're dead. Masher. Another TKS. Okay. I mean, we still have a chance, albeit very, very small chance, but take the ring. Go to 11. Alright. Monolith is not going to be good enough for us. We go down to 5. I think it's City of Traders or bust here. I guess Ancient Tomb could possibly do it. Maybe not. Oh boy. Alrighty then. Yep, no lands ever. Turn 6. 20 lands in the deck. We missed on 5 30%ers. That's incredible. It happens. Alright, game 2. I'd say we're mostly favored. However, having to win 2 post-board games is going to be rather difficult. I'm going to play the Worm Coils. Bauble's good against Force of Vigor, but I don't think that's enough to want it. Spellbomb could be okay. Oh, we don't want Chalice. So I'd rather have these K commands. And I guess they might have Null Rods. Do I want Force Negations? Probably not. They're on mostly creatures. Play Repeal. And Eldrazi Confluence. Alright. We probably lose the Wasteland with this hand, but I'm going to keep it. Hope we draw some lands. We can start slamming stuff. Gemstone Cavern, okay. Don't care too much about that. Would have liked for them to have mulliganed. Alright, once upon a time, finds an Ugin. Eldrazi Temple. Fleshraker? Oh, that thing. Sure. Petal. Another one of those, okay. Any rings or lands? It is a land. 7 or greater. Can't be 6, huh? Do I want a Metamorph here? If I do, then I can play Island and Metamorph without using Scary. Again? No. I hope to draw. City would be the best draw, but Petal, Grim-Monolith, another Ancient Tomb would also be acceptable. Trample. Every creature you control gets haste and X plus O. X is the number of Eldrazi. Jeez. Targets itself. Wow. Coming in for 14. That is intense. And a Wasteland. Come on, man. They're not going to waste me? Of course they're going to waste me. Yeah, I mean, pretty much another case of no lands ever. We could have mulliganed to a faster hand, but I don't know. Kind of just the get wastelanded, don't draw land situation. Brutal. All right, 1-1. See you in round 3. All right, we're back in round 3 against mollters. And can't win a die roll. We do have a turn 1 ring, though. We'll keep these. Alrighty. Opponent also keeps on 7. Fires off a Green Sun Zenith. Dryad Arbor. Feel like this could be a collective situation incoming. Interesting. 5. I think it's supposed to go Saga Key. We could go Ring. Hope to spike a Force of Will. But if we miss, we are both super dead to Collector Roof, and we take ourselves off of the mana to Jewel if they don't have Collector Roof. Whereas this is kind of a show of strength. Maybe they do something else first instead. Probably not, but this just has it. Raw dogs it. Outrageous. And now our next card is going to be Force of Will, right? No. So yeah, we would have been in a worse position. Now at least we have some constructs to potentially take the game over. But it's looking pretty grim. A Cozy Command would probably be our best draw. Although we actually don't have enough mana to cast that. But never mind. And if we had a Force of Will, this game would be pretty easy. It's not like... It's one thing when you have to force out Green Sun Zenith, because then they just have so many other ways, but if you counter the actual Collector, if it's gone, until they endurance it back... Wrist. Alright. Wrist is pretty good. This is really good. Alright, let's make a thing. Draw. Oops, all copy artifacts. Make another thing. Guess I'll get an opal. And attack wrist. I'm gonna chump it with the insect. Yep. Now, we gotta hope the rest of their hand is garbage. Like the only chance here. We have not drawn into any more lands. We have not drawn into any Force of Wills. Which is the only thing that can really do something here. Yeah, we probably lose to that. Alright, lots of creatures. At least I can play an artifact. Plays out a token. So... we don't get that until their next turn. Right? Or no, we get it. Okay. I mean... Actually not a terrible draw. Would have been a lot better earlier. And I think I still need to be attacking Grist. Double attacks on Grist. They probably double chump with Reclaimer and Insect. Yep. And I don't know, I mean, at least we have some game now. These copy artifacts might do some work. Still just interested in drawing either lands or Force of Wills. They're still making insects. This gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard, so it's kind of like... I forget the name of the card. But you can tap to sack another creature. You can... It's like Knight of the Reliquary, except the land comes into play tapped, and you sack a creature instead of a land. And it's got Vigi, so it can attack and do its thing. That's cute. Chalice, that doesn't help at all. I guess I put it into play because it makes my constructs bigger. Alright. Make another construct. And play Chalice on 0. And once again, put some attacks on Grist. And once again, they probably double chump, and this time they get to activate the white. Yep. Getting probably Cradle. They might even have lethal. If they can somehow get rid of this. 5, 6, 7, 8 plus Grist Ultimate would be lethal. If they can somehow get rid of this construct, they should have lethal. Get another Dryad Arbor. Make another Chumper. Okay. I'd say Scary is probably our best draw. Or Island into Island. Yeah, that's not a good one. We're gonna make another construct. Maybe I should have done it post-combat, but I don't know. I think I can only attack with 2. I go 3. I just let Grist die. Swing out. No. I'll also start attacking their face at this point. No, I think it's gonna be 3 on Grist. 3 on Grist, see how they act. It's definitely a bummer that we've basically missed on lands once again. We drew the Scary, which was a very good draw, but 1 land, 6 turns, pretty rough. Alright. So they let Grist die. They have an endurance. 3, 6, 7, 8. I mean, it's not lethal. So I can Dryad Arbor, get Hydra. Alright, that's probably lethal. Yeah, I wasn't thinking of Hydra. Now they swing out. What are the Hydras? An 8/8. They swing out. I block 8. I take a lot. Yep. Alrighty. Yeah, I wasn't thinking of Lair of the Hydra. Maybe it was just... Or not maybe, but... Given that, it's straight up wrong to attack with 3, but... I don't think we're winning by only attacking with 2 anyways. Okay, so... We need Cage. Soul Guide is reasonable. I'm gonna cut the baubles. Good against Force of Vigor, but shuts off our Force of Wills. In a way that I'm not comfortable with. We bring in... the Cozies, the Confluence, the Repeal, the Chain of Vapor. I'm gonna play Soul Guide. I'm gonna cut Chalice. It is actually relevant that you exile their Select Roof after killing it. And Soul Guide's pretty low commitment. Also shrinks a lot of their stuff. Worm Coil seems reasonable. I'm gonna trim a Jewel. I'm gonna trim a Copy Artifact. And I'm gonna trim 2 Copy Artifacts. Cage is the name of the game here. And is kind of weird. Oh, I'm gonna keep it. Not in love with it. But... And I'm gonna play the Sink. I know it's our only blue card, but I think we have to play it. Play it out and pass. But a lot of answers to their stuff. Relatively solid mana. Just looking for some sort of threat. Lands and blue cards are welcome as well. Wastelanded. Classic. I mean, I guess this isn't actually Cradle Control, so Cage isn't necessarily as good against them, but we definitely want it. But Confluence and K-Command should be really good. Drawing a Jewel would be good. Ring. Any action should be good. And it's great that we can convert Monolith mana right into this K-Command for 0/1 tokens if we want. Maintain mana in spite of a Collect Roof. Getting Thought Seized? No. Hierarch's fine. Fine. Let's just untap. Oh. That's a draw. God damn. Alright, let's go City. Engine. Go Pedal. Hopefully no Force of Vigor. Come on, man. Now we gotta go... guess we're just casting K-Command, hoping there's a blue card on top. You get some more mana from Grim Monolith. No blue card. We do find a ring. Yep. Those go down. The trigger does nothing. Battle comes in. One ring comes in. And Confluence is on. Blue card? No blue cards. To be fair, we don't have many in our deck. Alright, hopefully they just play Collect Roof, then we can kill it. Nice. They land, and then another thing I can kill. And go to 15. They're down to 1 land, which is nice. There we go. Kill. Make a 1/1. Good stuff. Draw 2. Play an island and pass it over. I'd say we're definitely ahead. Don't like that engine is in the graveyard. That's fine. A little annoying, but it's alright. Draw Scary. Saga. No way I can hold up Force. Let's get a Saga in there. And play out a new ring. Reset. Keep our life total more flush. And we get in for 1. We're going to be making some serious tokens. That's a Reclaimer. Okay. We go to 8. Draw. Metamorph. Let's draw. Alright. Think we want to go City. Copy 1 ring. Make tokens with this Ancient Tomb. We'd go to 6. And also go Saga. Copy 1 ring with Copy Artifact. Maybe that's better. Yeah, I think that's better. Reset the ring. Pass. Let's discard Ancient Tomb. Definitely a close game. Draw a card. Your thing. Make a thing, and F6. Alright, we go to 7. That's an interesting draw. That trigger we can let go. I'm going to make a construct. Go ahead and get Opal or Cage. Opal still doesn't let me make a construct and play a ring. Maybe I should have drawn with the ring first. Further inform my decision. Does hold up Stupor for us. Yeah, let's get Opal. Let's draw. More Metamorphs. Let's go. Actually, if I pay 2, I can copy 1 ring using City, and then I can sack this to make another token. Alright. Do that. Probably stop drawing cards at this point. And just straight up reset these. We also have a nice panic button. We can Stupor the Bauble and then force. Can attack here. Let it go. Let's go to cleanup. We have 4, 8, 9, so we discard 2. I think Soul Guide. Scary. We're going to be making a ton of tokens and ring walking. Zenith to get Dryad Arbor. Sure. And no attacks, I presume. Sweet. Make another dude. Untap. Take no damage. Draw another force. Let's make another token. And I think it's Cage here. Play the Saga. Yeah, I was thinking we had access to Petal there. When I made that token, it's possible we weren't even supposed to make that token. And I gotta pay 2 if I want to re-ring. Otherwise, they can probably give protection and attack, right? We do have to keep this ring situation going. Although now I don't have, mana situation's pretty tough. I guess I draw with the ring first. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. I guess this is the same as paying 2 life. Another 1 ring. Keep this one. Lay out Manifold Key. And attack with some 8/8s. Double chump. Get whatever land they want. Take 8. Sure thing. You can't get Dryad Arbor. Well, they can try. They got Verdant Catacombs. Interesting. Now they go to 6. They might even crack their bauble at this point, right? I'm at 1, so yeah. Stopping Force Will doesn't do anything. I don't really see any outs unless they can somehow manage to put Collect Roof. And only if they play 2 into Atraxa somehow, but Gage is in play, so I don't see it happening. Yep. Alright, that was way too close for comfort. Okay, they have Vexing Baubles. I mean, I don't care too much about Vexing Bauble. It does turn off their own Force of Vigors. Not for nothing. Think I run it back? Sure. Yeah. Reasonable enough. It's got issues, but I'm going to keep it. Opponent is also keeping on 7. Both of our clocks roughly around 9 minutes. Once Upon a Time opener. Ignoble, Forest, and Hierarch. Okay. Okay with me. Island. That's pretty good. Let's go Monolith. And we'll pass. We'll be careful at F6ing like I just did there. They have Force of Vigor. They could get you. But generally, I F6 and then I'm just kind of ready to un-F6 if I start seeing them like paying costs, but you can still get got. If they're going to do it, it's going to be on the end step anyways. So, but just be careful. Be careful out there. Okay, so 6, 4, 2. I can't 1 ring and kill this with K command. I can. Well, I can if I opt out of drawing a card with this, but instead make the spawnling things. We go 6. Use 4 of it to kill this and make 2 things. 2 and then 1 ring afterwards. Okay. That's fine. That's annoying. Okay. This pretty much is Cradle Control. It's just kind of a new version, huh? I should know it. My co-host is the creator, and my podcast co-hosts were like throwing around lists and talking about it. I just haven't really looked. Another K command is pretty nice. It's funny that I could kill both of these. You can double K command for X equals 1. Kill it, scry, draw. Kill it, scry, draw. Then I'd have to like... And then I have Island Chain if I need it. Better than just killing Fiend Artisan and playing the 1 ring? Probably not. Exile our creature. Make things. Exile. There's no reason to go all in like that. Exile our creature, make things. Exile. This is currently 1, this is currently 2. Get it out. Could also kill this and then kill one of these, but I think I'd rather just hold on to this K command and get a ring going. Alright, Saga's not bad. You gotta worry about the clock. They have 4 cards. We do have spell and mana to kill Collect Roof as well, so we can let it resolve and then kill it instead of forcing Green Sun Zenith. Suppose we could have also let Fiend Artisan just survive. Sure. Ew. That's not cool. Alright. You can't get in. And they can't activate Reclaimer unless they have Spirit Guide. Draw. Cage is pretty good. Yeah, let's go Scary. And just go with Cage. They only have 2 cards. It shuts off a lot of their deck. I don't even know if they're playing Natural Order. Thoughtseize. They have 2 cards. Alright. I mean, there's definitely merit to forcing this pitching copy artifact. Because this card will probably win us the game next turn. Like, I think they have to take Transmute, though. And then I still have K-Command to deal with their thing. Unless they have the thing right now, but then we can just counter it with Force. I guess I don't have double colorless. They took the Force. Weird. Bright Arbor, sure. They have 1 card. So now we just kill them. We gotta watch out, we can't like transmute for our Phyrexian Metamorph. Alright, they get in for 6. We go down to 7. Raw. Interesting. Let's go Saga. Transmute this ring. Get Jewel. Pay the difference. Let's copy artifact. Let's Metamorph. And that should be game. Now we get to go for Paradox Engine. For Monolith. They said GG's. Oh, that was a pretty sweet game. That was close. Alright, 2-1. See you in round 4. Alright, we are back with round 4 against Sprouts. We're on the draw. If we draw lands, this hand is great. But I'm gonna mulligan. Alright, this hand is better. I'm gonna put one of these baubles down. Opponent is on 5. Alrighty. Mox Diamond. Only we were on the play. Their own Vexing Bauble, okay. And Reclaimer. No cards left. Sure. Yeah, let's go Scary first. Maybe if we play Bauble, once they see our Bauble, they'll crack theirs. We can get this Petal into play. Flagstones is definitely a good land for them to have. We would like more lands. Beautiful. Yeah, let's go Saga. Play a Bauble. Pass it over. Now they get to get some sort of tapped Plains card. And then whatever they want. Probably a Stage. Or a Yavimaya. Depending on what's in their hand already. Wasteland, okay. That makes sense too. They might get greedy and hit Scary. Then we can start making tokens. Not an easy choice. No, neither. They're gonna cast Crucible. Okay. Yeah. I mean, another Bauble. That's also fine. So, we can copy Crucible. Oh, wait. Yeah. Can copy Crucible. Island is kinda nice. 2, 4, 5. I wish I could just Jewel. So we're gonna get double Wastelanded next turn. Crucible doesn't really help too much against that, huh? And then they're definitely gonna catch up. I'm gonna draw off this Bauble. Oh, we hit a 1 ring. That's pretty good. Now, so they double Wasteland us. And we'd have a Crucible. Get Island. I gotta get this ring in. Gotta get the ring in there. Monolith is nice. Now, no matter what, they leave us with 2 mana, 3, 4. We can draw key or 2 monoliths, or a monolith and a soul land. There are worlds where we resolve a jewel next turn. They might crack their baubles. No, there's one. Waste this once. And they waste their tomb. Alright, that opens us up to Transmute. Maybe. No, not quite. Well, it depends. Well, if we draw Soul Land, we're jeweling. God, that's so close. We can go. I think I go copy artifact and Crucible, play Ancient Tomb, Monolith, yes. Alright. Now they Reclaimer. They're 1 mana away from just popping off there. They get their own Saga. Still drawing a lot with the One Ring. Don't really have a way to get double blue though. Another Vexing Bauble. Okay. They get in for 3. We do have other ways of resolving Jewel. Stupor. Right, let's draw. There's not one of the ways. Go Ancient Tomb, we're still 1 shy. Go Island first, but then we die. Have to at least ring walk here. God, it feels like we should be able to do better here. But we can't. We got Island. Or hold on a minute. I can copy Mox Diamond using Monolith. Then I can transmute. Doesn't do enough. Just gotta copy the One Ring here. Keep the new one. Okay, key is good. 4, 8, 9, 10. Key is definitely good. 2, 3. Let's get rid of one of these jewels. Force. And a Saga. I might want the pedal for like engine stuff. This Bauble has taken us off of the 1 mana that would have won us the game. Like, we've been like 1 mana off of winning the game for like 4 turns in a row now. Needle would be devastating. 3, 4. I think we're still gonna struggle here. Not easy to get double blue from this spot. Gonna bog us. Nope, they're gonna bog themselves because of the One Ring. Said oops. Yep. Sweet. Got him. Like if we were on the play, we would have already won. We somehow had 1 more mana at some point. Would have already won. They do have a needle. That is devastating. Okay. So this is like Reclaimer lands. Drawing a One Ring. We drew a One Ring. Saga, that's 2, 3. Can't really Saga here. Have to Ancient Tomb. Have to go Ancient Tomb. Key. Untap Monolith. Yes, another One Ring. Just treading water. I mean, they don't have access to a wasteland right now. So that bog may have cost them. I mean, reasonable chance they have another one. Have a way to find one. Once upon a time, okay. No wasteland, no wasteland, no... I mean, we have a chance if they have no wasteland. 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 mana. We land a jewel. You probably kill them on the spot. This is a Zenith. They have flagstones. They have 3 cards in hand. And they're passing. Alright. They're bogging. I think they're bogging. They play 2 bogs. This copy's one in the graveyard, right? Saga. Okay. Whatever. Metamorph is not bad. Now we play Saga. We resolve a jewel. And the game probably ends. Always a classic. Classic Jewel Sitch. Play the Monolith. Play Metamorph. Nice. No Boseiju from them. Game is actually just over. Transmute. We'll get Engine. Play Petal. Bauble counters it. Get our trigger. Get more blue mana. Let's hold priority. Put a ring on tap on the stack. Bounce Pithing Needle. And they're off it. Wow. All because of that little mistake on the Bojuka Bog, which is really easy to make, by the way. Super easy to forget about that. And the old slippery jewel. All of a sudden, oops. Oops, I drew the whole thing. Okay, this is like Reclaimer lands. Again, I don't think I want Vexing Bauble. Gonna be annoying from them, but not the end of the world. I think we can do without Chalice, despite it being pretty good on one. Still think it's probably not good enough. Appeal, Chain, Age. I don't think that's gonna do anything outside of Zenith. Wormcoil could be okay. Bell Bomb decent enough. I think we just run it like this. There are arguments for some other cards, but I think this is likely better. Okay. Mulligan this one. Round 7. Classic one-landers. I don't think I'm going to 5. Put this opal away. Hope that we draw a land. Mox Diamond is in. Haywire Might. Actually weirdly annoying. We're going to force that. We're going to pitch Happy Artifact. Nice. Of course they got Wasteland. Well, Soul Land? Kind of. Kind of a Soul Land. Have access to another Wasteland as well. We can go like tap these, get a Wasteland, use Wasteland. Well, go scary. I hope we keep drawing lands. Alright, Wasteland us. You got it. We did in fact draw a land. I'll take it. They're gonna fetch, they're gonna map for a Wasteland, I would imagine. We're gonna draw Ancient Tomb and be sitting pretty. Also wouldn't hate a scary. Any land will do. Saga. Pivoting. Okay. Saga into nothing. I like that. Play Saga. Play Monolith. Alrighty. We are potentially cooking. Once upon a time. Reveals a knight. Alright. That is certainly threatening. And they want to make tokens. That's fine. Fine by me. Force Vigor situation. Classic. Pitching Knight. Well, we get to at least K command here. Make stuff. And scry. Yeah, I think I want to keep the blue. So we scry 2, draw a card, make 2 tokens. Oh. Don't have double blue, don't have an artifact. But at the same time, I don't hate lands, right? I'm gonna bottom the city. Keep the Ancient Tomb. Those go down. They have 2 cards in hand. They get a Saga going. Ooh, baby. That was the draw. I mean, they can get a Needle. Ring is in. Draw Saga, not bad. Now they start making dudes that get Needle. Make 1 dude. Make 2, right? Kind of scarier if they don't. They don't. Alright. They do? They don't. They do. Okay. Alright, make a dude. Get a Needle. Name 1 ring. Pass the turn. We get a Saga. We can copy Construct if we want. Another ring. I could have kept Saga, copied Mox and discarded it, and then next turn I'd be able to Jewel with Transmute. Kind of a risky sitch though. I don't think it's going to be advantageous for me to be copying constructs right now though. So I think I'm going to re-ring. I don't get hit or lose life. I mean, I guess since I'm making constructs starting next turn, maybe copying one was good. They have 4 cards. That's a wasteland. Ouch. Alright. Not making constructs. Got it. Oh, how about a repeal? Any repeals? Just crop rot into crop rot. Jeez, man. Okay. Well. Haha. Alright, that's good enough for me. Good enough for me. Game 3. Chalice stops. Reclaimer. Bauble. Crop rot. Needle if it's in hand. Wonder if it's good enough. Force has not been great. I'm gonna cut Force and play Chalice. Not good against Force of Vigor though, huh? Whatever. It's more material that they have to focus with Force of Vigor. Alright. Can't really say no to a bunch of lands. Saga. Spellbomb. Force of Vigor? No. Wasteland? Yes. Alright, Saga's gone. Let's play an Ancient Tomb. Hopefully they waste us. Maybe I was supposed to play these out first. Alright, got plenty of those. Plenty of those. I'll keep that one in hand. Play another one of these. Get another one. Once upon a time. Turn 3, first spell cast. Seiju, that's a good one. It's possible we should have a needle or 75. Seiju's definitely effective. At all. Kill this, make 2 things. Sure, it's gonna hurt. Alright, we're gonna kill this. And we're gonna make 2 things. And we'll get this one out there in front of the baubles. Looking for a jewel here. I guess Transmute technically does it as well. But Force of Vigor kind of blows it out. Bauble, it's fine. Don't really care about that. Scary, okay. That's enough with the lands. And we get some 1/1s, that's kind of nice. Yeah, I'll pass. Don't really think it's worth using Spellbomb yet. Cycle their Bauble. Another land. Gonna be a Zenith situation. Kinda hoping not. No, it's a Knight. Okay. Yeah, I don't think they have any Zeniths. Alrighty. It's a 6/6. Not the greatest of draws. I shouldn't have played that island yet. Actually gonna draw with Spellbomb. I don't think this card is good enough right now. Need something with more impact. That qualifies. Yep. Let's go. 1 ring. Get in there. Raw. Repeal. Interesting. I do think we have to do something about this knight. But I'm gonna play key first. And draw more. Maybe we don't do anything about it yet. The worst it's gonna do. Wasteland us? Can't really attack us. Oh. I want to repeal my key. Not really? So it's not. I could have also bounced it back to their hand, but they can probably still use it again. Chalice and copy artifact. Not terrible cards. Yeah, I'm just gonna play this Chalice. And hope that this knight isn't too powerful. We do know that they have a Beseiju. Hope they forget, since this is on 2, that I have a trigger from it. So they have a Besage and 3 unknowns. Pitched a Crop Rot. Hopefully their hand is a bunch of Crop Rots. I mean, Crop Rot's a good card and they pitched one. Unless it's like one of their only green cards. My guess is they have at least one more. Phase my thing, which doesn't do anything. Attack, attack. Yes. Love it. Love it. That always gets them. If you use key on your ring right away, since there's 2 counters on it, it makes it feel like it didn't just happen last turn. Alright, Transmute is very good. Let's draw. Okay. City. Just gonna go for the win here. Jewel is in. Heck yeah. Let's go. Copy Artifact. And they Besage you. Then I can transmute my 1 ring away. And hopefully win from there. Wow, they just didn't Besage you? What? Saving it for engine? That typically does not work when it's already on my radar. We can play around that. The way you play around that is you get enough jewels in play where like even just 1 trigger of your engine is game winning. I used all my colorless mana for this command, is kind of funny. Yeah, so we copy again. We can transmute. I can even bounce it with Stupor. Yeah, this game is over. Transmute. Go get engine. Pay 2. Get my engine trigger. They Besage you. We Stupor. Target spell or non-land permanent. I did. Huh? Turn target spell or non-land permanent. Oh, an opponent controls. I'm an idiot. Okay, so I can go bounce your thing, make 1,000,000 mana, draw cards, repeal, make 1,000,000, draw cards, let it get bounced, draw a card, bounce your thing, Besage you fizzles, make a bunch of mana, draw cards, metamorph, copy jewel, draw cards. There's Emmy, so we play engine, we play Emrakul, make a bunch of mana, we play another 1 ring, replace it, Chalice is on 1, yep, we said good games was kind of cooking in between. So this was a disastrous game by me, is what they said. Well, super close once again against another fair green matchup. They really put us to the test. Had to go the distance. Close on clock, too. Obviously wouldn't have been as close if I wasn't doing a YouTube video and talking and whatnot, but those are not easy matchups, as you can see. There's a lot to it. It's funny that I forgot that Stupor only hits your opponent's stuff. But we had the repeal, so that was pretty sweet. Even so, we could have like went further, drawn more cards, gotten more jewels into play once you hit Emrakul and have enough jewels in play where 1 trigger allows you to cast your Emrakul. The game's over, right? Alrighty, we're 3-1. I'll see you in the final round. Alright, here we are in the final round against Hataraxy. This is actually the original creator of the Turbo Necro Storm deck, so not much doubt in my mind they're on Necro. We will keep this. It kept on 7, which is terrifying. Petal Vault, Summoner's Pact, Vault Ritual, Necrodominance. So if they have a pact, we lose. Most likely. They don't. We got there because Summoner's Pact. They said, betrayer. I mean, it's not impossible that they would pay for the pact, but extremely unlikely. Oh man, and we drew the best possible. Actually, I shouldn't even play anything, huh? I guess just in case. They could have Ritual Spirit Guide. So, whatever. Let's play out our One Ring. And we draw. And we play Petal. And they die. Yeah, the correct thing to do there is not show anything, but we already showed them Force of Will, Stupor, which, well, since it's me, I'm sure they can glean that we're either Jewel or PO, regardless. Okay, so this matchup, we want all of our forces. Don't need Worm Coils. Baubles are pretty bad on the draw. Nothing else really matters. I guess in the event they don't have a turn 1 and they do pass the turn, we don't want... I mean, Chalice is pretty good. We can cut an island and Cozy. Let's go for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 22 blue cards. Pretty good. Maybe I just want more blue cards. Should probably just bring in more blue cards. But Chalice is good to, like, we stop the initial barrage with force and then actually play something that helps close the door afterwards. But Hataraxy still plays no powder and all of the Summoner's Pacts. I've actually just come off Summoner's Pact entirely. I think it's a bit too all in. But they're also, the last list I saw them playing, they only had 4 protection as well, so living on the edge. Alright, they did keep on 7 again. Here comes Chrome Box. Here's Dark Writ. Here's Necrodom. No Pact. And this is where hopefully Chalice helps. You can either go Scary plus Chalice on 0. Or go Chalice on 1. Chalice on 1 hits Dark Ritual. They already used Dark Ritual. I think Chalice on 0 is actually better. It's Petal, Chrome Mox, Summoner's Pact, and Active Negation if they draw into it. Go ahead, play Chalice. Force of Negation was not a bad draw. Doesn't help us right this second, but it'll likely help. Yeah, this is not the best of the matchups for Necrodom. Alright, they're passing. We'll play Ancient Tomb and play out this Monolith and pass it over. We got a hard cast Force of Negation if we need it. Probably don't. Pass again. We draw action. Oh, baby. Let's go... Yeah, let's go like this. Draw. That's funny. And I'll play out the Scary. You don't need Force Up when we have a 1-ring trigger. We're gonna have to pass the turn. Alright, we got a 14. Draw. Draw 2. There's a Jewel. Let's go Monolith. City. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, taparoo. Play out the Jewel. Draw 3. So we can go... Yeah, we can go get Paradox Engine. Play Petal. It gets countered. Untap our stuff. Draw 3. Cast Jewel. Draw 4. And I think this game has gotten away from them. Play another thing. Make mana, draw cards. Copy Jewel. Make mana, play Emrakul. Get her on the stack. Untap. And they scooped it up. Alright. Rushing Necrodom. As expected. Seems like a pretty bad matchup for them. Although they could easily like get a game 1. In which case it would be tough to pull off 2 game 2s. Alright, let's take a look at the list here. So, one of the huge reasons to play Chalice, or probably the biggest reason, is for the blue decks. We didn't face any blue decks, right? Or no, we faced 1. Yeah. But not much. We're pretty good against blue decks, so the fact that we had to deal with a bunch of like Collector Roof crap and still pulled those games off. Those are not the easiest matchups. But we're pretty good against them. It's one of the benefits of this deck over PO. You are much better against the fair green decks. You can just win easier. You have more routes to just like all of a sudden win. And you have less reliance on artifacts. None of our lands are artifact lands. We don't have a bunch of petals and opals. Don't get me wrong, Collector Roof is terrible for us, but this deck is better equipped to deal with it than PO is. I mean, the list felt great. Back-to-back 4-1s. We lost to Eldrazi. We had some slower hands that had 2 lands. And we got wastelanded and never drew another land in both games. So, I mean, that's going to happen some amount of the time. It could have mulliganed. I think there were reasonable keeps. Not too much to say about that. I'm not sure that I would change anything outside of... What was the sideboard card I said I wanted? Oh, Needle. Needle for Boseiju? Needle's just really good. It's just a really good card in a lot of matchups, now that we have Saga. But I feel like Boseiju has just gone up so much as far as how much it's played. We never really played Needle previously. I think it is warranted now. We finally get to use Eldrazi Confluence. It did feel great. It definitely did. Like, basically, the question for me was, do we still need a Dismember? Or can we get away with these? And so far it feels like this deck can get away with these. Like, you usually have the mana to leverage them. And they're just so flexible otherwise. And or in addition to. Maybe I want Needle instead of Spellbomb. But I think I like Spellbomb. Maybe I don't want all 8 Force Negations. Tough to say. But I'm definitely going to squeeze this Needle in here, see how it feels. Otherwise, once again, I do think this deck is very competitive and very good. It also doesn't feel unwinnable against Scaminator. It just feels as though Scaminator is broken. But I would hope these Chalice do help. Now, Scaminator, obviously, being on the play and griefing you is an issue. It's an issue for anybody. Or even just not resolving Chalice quick enough. But, I mean, that's how Chalice plays, right? And then they do have cards. They have Frog. Postboard, they're going to have Bowmasters. They have Animate Dead. They have cards that play around Chalice. But that's like the primary reason, not the primary reason why I'm playing this, but the reason that put it over the fence for me to be willing to include it. Right? It's good for all sorts of things. And the fact that it is, I think, necessary in that matchup leaves me wanting it. Whereas otherwise, I don't think there's enough reason in total to be playing. But we'll see. I mean, this might be overkill on these Cozy Commands and Confluence. Maybe I just go down a Cozy Command. I did like, there were matchups where we just cut forces and just played them. We just had more stuff. Did that against the fair blue deck. That felt pretty good. Feels like a better plan against Lavinia's than like hoping that you are on the right side of Force of Will, especially when they're playing Teferis. I do also like how our removal is really good action, right? There's spots when you're popping off with Jewel where Chain of Vapor is literally the best card that you could possibly draw when it bounces a bunch of copy artifacts and metamorphs. Same thing with Eldrazi Confluence. If you have multiple Jewels and you only have like one copy effect and you're like kind of just barely stringing along, Confluence can be a triple Jewel, which is insane. You don't get the mana because they come into play tapped, but Sometimes mana is not the thing that you're worried about. You can also steal your jewels back with this, which is pretty cute, before they draw cards. And then you get to draw your cards first. So, like, they take it, your jewels trigger, they go on the opponent's side. They'll have the mana, but the triggers will be on the stack, and you can confluence targeting them. You exile target non-land permanent, then it returns to the battlefield under its owner's control, so you own them. You can take them back, draw cards. Bauble feels fine. It didn't really shine there because we didn't play against much blue. We didn't play against a ton of combo. Like, we lost the die roll against Necro and killed them, and then we were on the draw again and killed them for 1. Otherwise, I probably would play them on the play against Necro. I know from experience that it's, you can reasonably easily win through Bauble, but it's still good and worth bringing in. And is also pretty good against various other combo decks. And good against Scam, for that matter. If you're on the play and it resolves, you're not going to get griefed. I suppose they could reanimate it. You get griefed once, but I don't know. Feels pretty solid. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out my Twitch. I do plenty of streaming live. Check out my Patreon. As far as the sideboard guides go, once again, they are going to be delayed until bans. I don't want to do a ton of work, and then it's all going to get changed anyways. There are some old sideboard guides that you can look at to get a very good idea of what you should do for more recent lists. You also get early access to my videos. I post them on Patreon first, the day before. You get access to my private members Discord within the Storm Discord through my Patreon. You can sign up for dono decks, one-on-one coaching sessions, and of course, check out the podcast, The Brews of Paradise. Of course, all the links for this stuff will be in the description below. Keep storming, y'all. See you next time.